Okay, well, so the first question is, what inspired you to start a YouTube channel and create video content?
Um, at the time, I was angry that the YouTube uh, gear stuff was all camera audio, mostly. There was like two or three guys doing non-camera audio, and that was like Ola and Keith, and that was about it. Everyone else just had camera audio, and I remember shopping for an overdrive pedal and not being able to find what I actually wanted out of the YouTube clips, and so I thought, well, I'm going to make non-camera audio stuff because there's got to be other people that want good quality sound stuff in a home environment. Because at the time there was like a lot of Line 6 videos, and a lot of Line 6 videos were like in front of like a huge SSL console, the guys leaning up against it, telling you how good it's going to sound at home, and I thought that was really ridiculous. So that just kind of just became a game. It was just for fun, and then all of a sudden, like a video had 100 views, and I was like, whoa. 100 views. It seemed astronomical.
Yeah, I watched your. I went on your YouTube channel, and there's a section where it says like oldest videos to newest, and I went back and I saw it, and I was like, wow. So that's how it's like to start. So.
Yeah, being really.
That's the most fun thing to do is go onto a channel and then look at their oldest videos, and then watch their newest ones, and you can see basically like their life story in their YouTube.
Yeah, mine are terrible. Jared's are terrible.
Mine are still terrible, so that's totally fine.
Oh yeah,
you have better camera though.
Yeah, I watched like a lot of your stuff, and I was like, wow. So actually, a friend of mine, I think he was about to get in touch with you, but he's like, oh man, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to ask them, and I was like, you type them an email, do this, and so.
We're just people.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? It was supposed to be like at first, because AmKicker sometimes like doesn't get replies from several managements. We got a guy from The World Alive. He actually, that was pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of guys just will ghost you. They won't even. I'm guilty of the same thing. If it's like, I would get emails, and I'm sure Jared does too. These emails that are literally like 4 pages long. Like I'm sorry, but I am not going to read that just to answer which overdrive pedal you need. So there's a line, but if you're just asking like some simple question or saying what's up, I mean, what reason is there not to reply?
True. My second question, actually, since Jared is here too, how many instruments do you guys play, and were you self-taught?
I'm largely self-taught, and I play guitar, bass, and a little bit of drums. He plays everything, xylophone, skin flute, especially. He's really, really good at that.
I'm okay at a lot of things. I'm not really great at anything. So I've made a decent living off of being very okay at a lot of things. Mostly rock instruments. I actually started with harmonica, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. When I was like 8 years old, my grandpa got me a harmonica, and I played that thing for a while.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I started on trumpet.
Trumpet?
Yep. Trumpet, saxophone.
Yep.
My brother played the clarinet, and then I got into guitar, bass, drums, yelling angry stuff, and yeah, a little piano, but I'm not anything. It's not anything worth showing anyone.
I started with the flute, and then I kind of got bored because I didn't like the classic music, so I quit.
Yeah.
And then I see like one of the guys in the class playing guitar, and like everyone is like has eyes on him, and I'm there like playing the flute, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to play the guitar.
Flute's not cool. I mean, Jethro Tull is like all right, but that can only go so far.
Third question is, what is your guys' favorite band?
Mine's probably Mastodon.
Yours is definitely Mastodon.
Mine's definitely Mastodon.
Oh God, I hate this question. No, I hate this fucking question because there are so many bands out there, and it really comes down to what I'm in the mood for at the time.
Just say Killswitch Engage.
Okay, if we're going for the bands that I've liked the longest, I will say Breaking Benjamin, Killswitch Engage, and The Used are three bands that I've loved since like before junior high. I don't have I can't say I have a favorite number one because it's just impossible to do that. But those three would be up there if I had to choose.
Fair enough.
Now, you, Ryan, do you prefer Fluff or Ryan?
Fluff's fine.
Oh, okay. Now, I watched a video of you guys doing Q&A, and Jared brought up a question, what genre of metal do you like? And you said metal. No genres, no subgenre. I don't like doing that. How come?
Right. I think because the genres are really dating and they're kind of silly. I think of music as like books. You either have you have fiction, you have nonfiction, you have reference. There are a few big. Obviously, metal is not jazz, and jazz is not blues, and blues is not polka. They're all their different. They're all their different things. So, with the subdivision of all the metal genres is really, it's silly. It's all because it's so many different things to so many different people. The same genre. Same genre is.
That's not death metal.
Yeah, that's deathcore because deathcore has these kind of that's all. It's all heavy music. That's what we're all passionate about. There's too much division. We all need to unite.
True. That's a good point. Yeah. Now, how did you get into recording?
Out of necessity, actually. I had sleep apnea for a long time, and I wasn't very productive. And I had surgery, and I got rid of it in really late 2009 over Christmas break. And I decided I had all this energy all of a sudden, and I wanted to always learn how to record at home. And I started out by plugging my guitar into my computer, into the microphone input, and I just went from there. I wanted to know how to do that, and then I discovered a guy named Ben Sharp, who releases stuff under the name Cloud Kicker, and that was just insane for me. So I wrote him and asked him how he did it, because the drums were the big hump to get over of how to do drums, and I didn't know MIDI drums existed, and discovered Superior Drummer and all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
So
wait, so you had a different job before getting into recording?
Yeah, I worked for a very large airplane company, and I worked plenty hard up until very recently, in the last 3 months. So I've done all of this while maintaining. I was married at the time, and I had a full day job and a daughter this whole time. So It's been very, very, very time consuming. But now I do this full time.
Okay. The next question is about your previous band, or I don't know if you're still in that band, but a year ago you released an EP under the name of Black Metal Bicycle. It's called Firestarter.
Mm-hmm.
How did the recording process play in the making of the album? Because I read the description and it said you made it in your home studio and then you made it in a what was the other studio? Fastback studio. Yeah.
Fastback. Yeah. That was just me. I just basically was releasing music under that name instead of my own name because I thought my name doesn't sound that cool. So I chose Black Metal Bicycle because that was one of my favorite Cancer Bat songs. So I wanted to see how heavy I could get a record without using amp sims or MIDI drums. I really wanted it to be organic and use actual people playing all the instruments and layering all the stuff. And so I got my buddy Nick from Unearth to play all the drums on it, and we recorded the drums at Fastback, and then I did everything else in here. I recorded all the guitars and the bass, and I quad-tracked everything, which I really regret because it was an immense pain to get. You have to be playing so precise in order to get quad tracks to not sound really, really muddy. But it was just kind of a personal challenge to myself. But I think I did what I wanted with it. I won't probably do it ever again.
Did you what's your favorite song on there?
I like the Bone Collector.
Bone Collector?
Yeah, the Bone Collector for me was super cool. I wrote it originally for the Misha Mansour pickup demo that I did, and then kind of reworked it. And Nick helped me rework it into this. Like, it sounds Irish. The main riff is Irish. It sounds strange, but it works.
I listened to the EP, and a friend of mine, he's like, that sounds like he recorded it using a microphone, like instead of amp simulators, like you know how you mic up the amp and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I'm like, I was literally like, because I seen you do videos and doing amp simulators and things like that, and I was like, did he actually use that? And so I was like, let's see, it was actually good.
Yeah, 6534 and a Mesa 212 and Audio Technica 250DE, I think it was. Yeah.
Now I'm just wondering, like, what do you prefer, using amp simulators or going like naturally?
If I have the time, I like to do it with a mic in front of the cab. If I don't have the time, then I'll use something like the Two Notes Torpedo Live or the Torpedo Studio, something like that. I rarely use amp sims for the actual finished product anymore. Because I don't have to. Because I think, along with MIDI drums, no one really would prefer them if they have the option of using the real thing. And I have several amps now, and so several. I have like 3 or 4.
Yeah, right.
More than that?
3 or 4. Like, okay, 5. I have 5 amps.
Oh, Jared's
Don't
counting.
listen to him.
It's like 14.
Wait, is that more than you have?
It's like 14. It's 14 amps.
You seriously have, we need to have an intervention.
No, it's better. It's more healthy than drugs. It's not less expensive than drugs, but
Probably more expensive than drugs.
it's more expensive than drugs.
You just need to start doing your drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the real thing. I like a moving speaker and moving air.
Nice.
Yeah.
I listened to, I was watching your video, and there's a topic that you discussed talking about, like, the looks of your gear and audio plugin. And you said that the look of an audio plugin matters. And you explained, like, if I want to sound like a tape machine, I literally want it to sound like a tape machine. And, but then I saw a comment saying that there's a person that said quality is better than the look. So what do you have to say to that person, Because, like, some of the people said, like, you kind of didn't go all the way clear with that,
Yeah.
So
there's validity to they're going to put all the research and development into the actual audio, but aesthetically, it does matter. Of course, it matters. Then why do people care about the looks of their car, for example? If that was the case, then cars would be square because it doesn't matter because you're inside it when you're driving it anyway. So, aesthetics do matter. And if the plugin is supposed to be emulating an actual vintage piece of hardware, I want it to look like that vintage piece of hardware. It's just it's a mental thing. It has nothing to do with how it functions. But again, sometimes it does. So, it's just the layout maybe of the actual vintage model is better than just some sliders. It's not very pleasing. You can't get around that easily. So it matters.
All right. No, I agree. I was just looking at some of the comments, and I was like, I wonder what he has to say to that. So, I kind of brought up that topic. So this question actually requires 2 of you to kind of think about it. When you hear fans say that their favorite band sold out, what do you think of? Like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, for fuck's sake, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Okay, there's 2 ways to look at this. One is you get the people who are like just super pissed because that band no longer sounds the same, or you get the people who are actual fans of the band and want to see them progress and want to see them make it. Now, I think what a lot of people don't understand is that you can change your sound without selling out, for one. And for 2, if you want to make a little bit more money playing music and doing what you love to do, you should have every right to change your sound. Like, take Bring Me the Horizon. Perfect example. Like, their old stuff is super deathcore. Their new stuff is, like, almost
big pop rock.
Big radio rock.
Yeah.
And people are, like, pissed off about it. And it's like, well, first of all, there's 800,002 deathcore bands you can listen to if you love deathcore. Like, why aren't you supporting these guys?
People grow and change.
People grow, and yeah, that's
selling out. Yeah, they sell out every arena they play.
Right.
Most people do. And that goes along with like the Nickelback hate.
Nickelback?
It's so easy. It's so easy to hate on someone who is making millions of dollars doing what they love, which is playing music for a living. How can you hate on that? You can't. True selling out, the definition of selling out to me was always, if you're doing something and you were just not into it and you don't want to do it anymore, you're so over it, you're so tired, you're really phoning it in, that's selling out. Not still being passionate and just changing your sound. That's not selling out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
You owe it to the fans to at least be into it, whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
And
no matter what. So, yeah.
Well, so in metal and punk rock, there seems to be more and more bands coming in, and so, for example, do you think that the metal audience is going downhill, but more bands are coming in? And do you think that the, metal/punk rock, do you think the scene will kind of slowly die out? And you will get like more alternative bands coming in.
Kevin Lyman said something to the effect in a recent interview. The metal crowd and the metal fans and the metal bands in particular would never ever take away from themselves for the good of the scene. Meaning, the big metal bands would never ever, for example, take a pay cut to get an up-and-coming band onto the bill. There's not that camaraderie in metal. In punk rock, there is. I come from a punk rock background, and I was in hardcore punk bands for many, many, many years growing up, and there was always an unspoken camaraderie with that genre. And then you get into the metal stuff, and it's very chest-beating. It's collapsing on itself, in my opinion. And it's sad because it's holding back the genre as a whole, all metal. This me. Well, it's actually what's good for the music and what's good for the genre, and that's what they don't ever ask themselves. So, the punk rock stuff has always gone more forward faster. Look at all the struggles that metal has gone up against. With the PMRC over the years. And just this constant public perception of metalheads versus punk rock guys, you don't see huge backlashes in the news about punk rock music. You just don't. So.
Oh yeah.
But metal is the number one listened to genre on Spotify.
Awesome.
Nope. That's because the jazz guys and the blues guys and the indie guys are busy actually playing music.
Yeah.
So. It's sad.
So, I remember you talking on YouTube about how you started out using Reaper for production. What made you think of changing to Logic Pro?
When I switched from Reaper, there was not a lot of info about Reaper. There was the Reaper website and the Reaper forums, and if you were stuck, you would basically post something and then pray someone would answer you. And this is back in like 2012 when I switched. So, Logic, I wanted to get into one of the major DAWs, Logic, Reason, Pro Tools, Cubase, something that there's actually support with and people are getting certified in and there's books about it and tutorials, and there was nothing for Reaper. And I felt really limited with Reaper at that time. I wanted something more streamlined and more mainstream where I could go to, because big house studios never ever run Reaper. They simply don't, because of the stigma and it's not Pro Tools. So, and I don't like Pro Tools, so I just did the next best thing, which was Logic.
What producer do you look up to, or inspired you, or still inspires you?
What's that? Yeah, Terry Day, Andrew Sheps, who did Adele and Chili Peppers and all that stuff. Andy Sneap's good. John Feldman from he was from Goldfinger. Then he did all the used records and all those. John Feldman is absolutely brilliant, genius. Not a lot of metal guys. What's that? Will Pootney.
Yeah, he's good.
Will Pootney, Mark Lewis. Mark Lewis is just brilliant what he does, and a really, really, really nice guy. Devin Townsend actually is a big one for me. Devin is one of the sweetest guys I've ever met, and you really hear the passion that he has for his work in his mixes and in his productions. They're so big. They're not just some cookie-cutter compressed thing. They're really dynamic, and I think that's what really sets him apart from everybody else that I just mentioned.
Cool. What about? I'm just wondering. I'm a fan of like all those. I think like when I was like 14 to 15, like 16 years old, I was a huge fan of like the new metal, and I was like in that new metal like scene / phase. What do you think about Ross Robinson?
Ross Robinson is brilliant. Some very good friends of mine are in a band called Cancer Bats, and their last record they did with him. And they went down to his home studio and they lived with him. They basically, when you record a record with Ross, you basically go and live with his family in their 3-story house for several weeks, and you have the entire downstairs with its own little apartment, and the studio's down there. And they said his passion for it was much like Devin Townsend's. He's so into it, and Ross really created a genre, and and from that genre has come a lot of good things, a lot of arguably bad things, but that was the fault of the bands themselves. I don't think that's anyone's fault necessarily from the production side of things, but yeah, he cranked up a triple rectifier with some really, really detuned 7-string guitars and gave us Korn. I mean,
oh yeah,
can't get any better than that. I saw Korn in '96 at a small theater here in Seattle, and there was nothing like that at the time. It was so mind blowing. It was just incredible. And I'm saying Deftones are still going. I know they get lumped in the new metal thing a lot, even though they're not really new metal. But yeah, we have the Deftones to thank for that, or we have the Deftones, for the new metal thing. So it's pretty cool.
Cool. How did you get connected with Jared Dines and Rob Scallon? I see you guys like featuring each other in YouTube videos.
I first met Rob when another YouTuber, Pete Cottrell, he liked and shared one of my videos, and Rob knew Pete, and then Rob saw my stuff, and he hit me up and said, "Hey, I'm going to be in NAMM." This was back in 2013, I think, and we should hang out. And I want to potentially start having you mix all my stuff because I'm not very good at mixing my own audio. And I think I could take my stuff to the next level if you start mixing everything. And I said, yeah, sure, we can totally hang out, go have a beer. And we did. We met up down in California, and we totally hit it off. And Rob's a great guy, an absolute sweetheart of a man. And I started mixing this stuff. The first thing me and him ever did together was the Metal in Inappropriate Places video. And ever since then, I've done every bit of audio that's ever been on his channel since then. And he's had huge success, and it's been great for me, and it's just a really, really good relationship. It's very fruitful, and couldn't have happened to a better guy. Jared, on the other hand, I knew pre-YouTube because we were actually going to work on an album together. We were going to do Into the Flood, a band of ours, friends of ours, Into the Flood, were going to have us do guitars, or they were going to have me help guitars or something. I don't even know what. It never ended up happening. But they said, yeah, we're doing some pre-pro at his studio, and you should come and hang out. And that's where I met Jared. And Jared was busy making some vocal covers and doing something with the Brotherhood thing. And we kind of just casually stayed in touch. And then he started making YouTube videos, and I was like, oh, this is adorable. And then I was wrong. And then Jared took off, and it turns out he lives like a mile away from me.
Yeah. I was surprised. I was like, whoa. They literally, like, I saw like you guys doing a video, and I was like, he just entered the door. Like, what?
Yeah, it's something in the water in the area or something. But I don't know. There's a bunch of nerdy guys that like to point cameras at themselves.
So this is something that I went on YouTube and I messaged some of the people who commented, and I had asked them, and I was like, who do you think is the skilled guitarist out of the three of you guys. I was just wondering to see if they like how can it start an argument just between the fans, and they're like, Fluff is better because he makes the best riffs. Have you not seen that Riff Wars? And then one said, have you not seen, like, did you see Rob Scallon destroy that solo? And then they're like, did you see Jared, like, doing all that?
Yeah.
They're like, Jared literally made the no tuning rule. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I say no tuning, like, it's like, he says it doesn't matter what tuning you are, you can still be heavy.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I was
Which
like,
is true. And Jared has totally proven that point over and over again. Bless him for that. And it's people like to assume like there's like some weird competition or competitive thing when it's not. Where that's actually all very very planned on our parts. And I think we love it when people think that we're, I don't know, serious about like, oh, that Dines, ooh, or Scallon, damn you. That's never ever the case.
My favorite part is watching you guys, and Rob Scallon just whips out the 8th string. I don't remember if it's an 8th string or a 7th string.
Oh, the 9th string.
9th string. Oh, and it's like boom, 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 and like you guys start shaking, like the video effect, and then you come out and you're like jerk.
Yeah, I flew all the way to Chicago. That was the main reason I flew to Chicago, but I also wanted to drink all their beer and eat a bunch of Chicago food. But yeah, I flew all the way out to Chicago to get that shot, which I think was awesome.
Awesome.
So.
So what is, as a producer, what is your favorite part about recording an artist?
When you're done.
No. No, I like the creative process, and then I like it when they're open to suggestions. And, you know, if I'm like, hey, why don't you try it like this? And it's just kind of this push and pull thing. That's really cool. I really enjoy that experience, more so when bands are really, really controlling and, no, I got to do it like this. You know, some guys will come in here and they'll track something, and it has to be just like that, which I totally respect too.
Well, the best part is when someone comes in and does that, and they're like, no, it needs to be just like this, and then when you do that, and then at the end, they realize, you know, I didn't actually like that. Can you go back and do it how you were going to do it? And at that point, it's like way too late, and you're just like,
sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like bands complaining, like, redo my mix, or, you know, or I won't pay you?
Yeah, I've had a few people. There's a thing in the audio world called being married to the demo, and they'll often ask, can you make it sound more like the demo? Make it sound like the demo. It's just because they're used to hearing the demo, they like it so much, but they lose sight in, well, they hired you to do a job, and even though something might sound way, way better, they still just want the demo. Then they want you to recreate the demo, and you know, that's an unhealthy thing to get in the loop of when you're recording, but that doesn't happen very often these days. It's happened a few times, though.
Cool. So another part of you being a producer, what do you find harder? Tracking, mixing, or mastering?
Lately it's been mastering. Everyone's like, louder! And I'm like, guys, it's distorted. Nope, I want it louder. And I hate the loudness wars, and I think it's just so ridiculous. You know, so it's mostly the younger bands now. The loudness wars are starting to go away, but it's a lot of the really, really young, the really young metalcore bands that are still asking for stuff to be loud to at the point of sacrificing the sound quality of the song. They don't care about that. They just want it loud.
Are you gonna? I'm just wondering, because you said that. Do you think there might be a YouTube video of you, like, in the future, making fun of, like, poking fun at that?
I've thought about one. I've been kicking one around that maybe I could do with this guy, and I'm sure we could come up with something.
It'd be a little bit like my Overdrive 9000 video where I stack the
Oh,
overdrives.
yeah.
You just start boosting the headroom until it's like fucking insane, and it just sounds like a huge wall of just.
Yeah.
And I'm like, perfect, exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, I hate that. So lately, it's been mastering's kind of been sort of a challenge, but comes and goes.
Okay. The next question is talking about your. I think this is a new band. Rest and Repose. Rest Repose. There we go.
Yeah.
So you started a band with Jared Dines, and what can you tell the viewers about the upcoming EP that'll be released on December 18th? And what is the name of it?
It's just called the Sleep City EP, and we recorded it over. Oh no, we went to Fastback Studios in Seattle, and we recorded the drums. Jared tracked the drums, and really one-taked most of the songs. It's just a 5-song EP to just kind of get us started. Jared nailed pretty much everything in one take, except for like maybe one song. Seriously, he tracked the entire EP in like an hour.
Wow.
It was crazy. Then we recorded everything back here. I tracked all the guitars just for time's sake. Our other guitarist Tony came in and did some of his parts and his overdubs after that, and Josh came in and laid down the bass. Like I said, it's going to be 5 songs, and a lot of my viewers will recognize some of the songs. They've been reworked heavily to fit more of a band structure, but a lot of them will recognize the songs from the YouTube channel in a lengthier, more organized format, thanks to the rest of the band. The rest of the band has really been instrumental in kind of arranging stuff to make it a more cohesive songs, because I'm used to just doing these really short, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 2 minute riffs, yeah. And the rest of the band has been really, really helpful and totally key in making the songs really, really huge. And our vocalist Vince is coming in tomorrow, in fact, to finish the very last song on the EP. And that'll be pretty much it. We're going to probably record a live record in February. It's going to have 2 new songs that are on the EP, and we have merch on the way, and so things are moving along nicely.
Cool. How did you get the whole band together? I mean, I know you and Jared worked together, but like, how did the rest of the band come?
From kind of all over the place. Jared knew Josh they were in a band together a couple years ago. Tony hit me up because he saw my post on Facebook, and he said, "I'm your guy." And I thought, well, if you're saying that, you clearly are not the guy, because no one says that.
Tony says that.
Yeah, Tony says that, and then he learned several of the songs off the YouTube channel and recorded himself playing them note for note and sent them to me, which I was like, wow, okay, clearly he wants it. So he lives in Seattle, which is about 40 minutes away, but he drives down, and he's been a great part of the band. And let's see, Vince was a latecomer.
She said,
yeah. We really waited, and we really wanted the right singer for the band, but we really weren't sure what that exactly sounded like, but we knew we didn't want a screamer. And we wanted someone who could actually sing, was like a really good vocalist. And boy, we were vocalists for a month and a half, 2 months almost. And Vince kind of just fell in our laps, and it kind of happened organically. And
actively searching for that 2 months.
Yeah.
Without finding a vocalist that we really wanted to settle on more than anything.
Yeah.
Because there are definitely people who were like sending us stuff, but
lots of guys that sounded like Dio,
or guys. Well, not even so much that. It was like guys that sounded like that Godsmacky, like
the jaw singers.
That guy, which is what we were not looking.
The bro rockers.
Yeah.
The bro rockers.
Yeah, not happening for this band, but Vince has been perfect. He's exactly what we wanted originally, so that's been a very, very nice addition to the band. So,
where does the name Rest Repose come from? How'd you guys make that?
We're really lazy, and we like taking naps, so
that's not true. Well, we do like taking naps. Rest Repose is the literal. Is from the root word of requiem, and at the time I had just gotten divorced, and I never wanted to forget what it felt like for a marriage to die, really. because it was an awakening experience. You know, you really take a look at yourself and take a look at the things around you when something like that happens. And so I just didn't want to. I wanted to kind of capture that moment, and the name would always forever remind me of how that felt. And it was better than the something or having the rest verb.
To verb the noun.
Yeah, to verb the noun kind of a thing, or noun the verb kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's been totally played out. So it just seemed to fit, and it came pretty quickly. Me and Jared were just sitting around on my porch. Summertime. It was back in July or something like that. We just kind of came up with it.
Yeah.
So it's worked out pretty good ever since.
Oh wow, that's cool. The next question talks about click theft because I watched I forget the guy's I forget the guy's name. He has like long hair, curly hair. I'm a fan of his.
Glenn?
Yeah, Glenn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I watched his YouTube too, and you got featured on there, and they mentioned Jared and they mentioned Rob. They even mentioned you, like as in being in the whole mix. How did that whole thing like start? Like, I don't want to get into like what was your reaction type of thing because you already explained it, but like, how did that thing start?
You're talking about the trap.
About the trap thing.
Oh, the trap thing. Yeah. I think it was because it kind of defaulted to me because Rob, being the extreme gentleman that he is, he didn't want to add any fuel to the fire by doing anything more than simply commenting on their post at the time, saying, "Hey, please take my video down." And I think I was a bit more vocal and a lot more harsh, and I was much more mean about it when I commented on it. I think people kind of latched onto that, which was not really my intention, but I was kind of mad because, you know, I very much think of Rob's work as not mine, but I have a lot invested in it as well because I'm mixing all this stuff and I spend all this time making something sound good for Rob, not for someone to steal. Yeah. So, it just kind of snowballed from there, and then people started latching onto that comment, and so that's why I was featured in Glenn's video.
Well, didn't you share it too? I think is why. Did you share it on your page, or no? Rob shared it on his page.
Yeah, Rob shared it on his page,
and then it kind of blew up because he had all of his fans and supporters jumping in on Trap, who just completely ignored Rob for like a full day and commented, like replied to everyone else's comments, ignored him. And finally, they like put his name in the video or something. But click theft is just another like way that pages or groups who can't be original themselves, it's a way for them to like get their name back out there, but they're just too lazy to put something out themselves, or they're not good enough to put something out themselves. I see it all the time with like, you know, people like Soflo Antonio and Brian Silva. They're like these Facebook profile like people who they don't do anything. They just share like all these viral videos from their page and then put like download my fire mixtape, you know, in the comment or the description. Yeah. And then that video gets 30 million views. Well, because of that, they get like maybe, you know, 10,000, 20,000 new likes, and they just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And the problem with that is that the original creators 95% of the time don't get any credit. So all this work goes into a video. It gets seen by everybody, and then no one cares who did it, and it's killing the creators, you know, and slowly but surely. And I think what these people don't realize is that without the creators, they wouldn't be able to do what they're doing, and they're just screwing over the creators in doing this, which is kind of what happened with Rob and Trapped, and it happens to me all the time. I mean, people will rip my videos, and the only reason I see them is because I get, you know, my fans will go onto the page and tag me and say, oh, you know, this is Jared Dine's video, you know, take it down or whatever. And, you know, I have some of those videos that were ripped have 10 million hits, you know, people just stealing my videos and stuff like that. And the thing that's shitty about Facebook is there's not much you can do about it because Facebook doesn't care. They're getting paid from the ads, so they don't care. They're not going to be like, oh, sorry, I'll take it down right away. You know, you might wait 4 or 5 days, and after going through this huge process, they might finally take it down. So there's really no consequence to these people that do this. There's no, like, they don't get their page reported or deleted or flagged or nothing. Facebook just doesn't give a shit, and it kind of sucks. But the only good thing about it is if they do credit you, you might get some fan base. But I mean, like I said, I have videos with up to 10 million hits on Facebook, and when they go viral, I get maybe 500 new subscribers, and it's really hard to tell because I get about 2,000 new subscribers per day. So a lot of that is not even from the videos, even if I am credited. And these pages don't even ask, so it's kind of like, all right, whatever. But it just sucks. There's not much you can do about it. And
Yeah.
I've talked for like 10 minutes on it now, but yeah, that's my 2 cents on ripping videos.
Now, I mean, like, I may have to like cut this out just because, in case if you don't want it there. If I'm wondering if I can ask you a question like about We're Triumphant, if you don't mind.
They just filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah,
that's
I
fake.
heard that. Yeah, they
Was
did.
it?
That's fake.
I didn't know that.
I never got any money from We Are Triumphant. I don't want to keep like talking about that whole thing just because.
We don't have to.
No, it's cool. I'm not like offended that you asked. I get asked that a lot. It's just I was just starting out. I didn't know anything about ripping videos, anything like that, and it happened. He took a few of my videos. I told him stop, and he stopped. And everyone has their own opinion on it. But I was just new to it, and he saw a way to get likes on his own page. So he took my videos, and I said, please stop, and he stopped. So that was pretty much the extent of that, the whole We Are Triumphant thing. But yeah, I see like articles online about it all the time with, oh yeah, they filed for bankruptcy, or Jared Dines versus We Are Triumphant, and it's just like, it happened. It's over a year ago, and it's whatever. So, yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
So, what program would you guys recommend to a beginner producer that wants to record either guitar, bass, or drums?
Logic. Honestly,
$200.
Logic for several reasons. First of all, it's $200. B, you get so many virtual MIDI instruments that no other DAW can offer. That even comes close to the orchestral. There's string stuff. There's piano stuff. There's now it has its own basically version of Easy Drummer. It's just so feature rich for $200, and you only buy it once. There's never any upgrades or anything like that. All the upgrades are free, and it's all automatic. They're adding new features and stuff all the time. There's new synth that came out that they gave everybody. Logic is like the only way to go if you're a guitar-based guy. Now, if you're like a keyboard-based guy, maybe Cubase is the way to go because it is much more feature-rich in the MIDI section. But you only need to learn Pro Tools if you plan on sitting in a big professional studio or have a lot of outboard surfaces to control.
What is your favorite guitar when it comes to recording? And what are you looking in guitar when it comes to recording as well?
I like a lot of low end, and I don't like a lot of high end, and I like a thump. And the best sounding and my favorite guitar that I own is it's a 77 Gibson RD Standard that I use pretty much exclusively for the new Rest Repose record for all the rhythm tracks, and it has this oddly long sustain and low end from just, I don't know, being so old or whatever, I don't know. It's just like the magical guitar, and it's really the key to everything I do record-wise, everything that I record.
Cool.
Jared, what's your favorite guitar?
I really like the M01 Pro, the Chapman. Honestly,
The Chapman's good.
the playability on it is really, really cool. My Ibanez, there's something, even you say there's something special about the Ibanez.
He wanted to change stuff about the Ibanez SZ that is in most of his videos up until recently. He wanted to change the pickups.
Thinking about it.
Don't do it, dude. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
That guitar, the Chapman, the Fender Strat I got was pretty cool. I've always been a Strat telly kind of dude.
Yeah.
I'm just a simpleton. If it plays good, if it sounds good, and if the action isn't too high on it, I'm happy. So.
Fair enough.
So you guys had there's a few more questions left, if you don't mind. Is that cool?
Sure.
Oh, okay. So do you prefer a song that has more riffs, or do you prefer a song that has, like groundbreaking solos, and then it has like riffs that accompany it?
Riffs. A big flashy solo is, everybody loves the big flashy solo, but that's never ever the meat and potatoes of anything, and I'm a very much meat and potatoes guy. So huge riffs and grooves is really what does it for me.
Okay. So the next question, just it's your opinion. What do you think makes metal stand out compared to other genres besides having, a guitar, bass, and drum? Besides having that, like, instead of playing an instrument, how other genres you can have like literally a computer that can write you a song. What makes metal stand out?
I don't know. I don't know that it stands out that much these days. Although I guess with the amount of genres and the diversity within metal, I guess that would be, going back to the genre thing. There are a lot of subgenres, whether we like it or not, and there's a lot of identifying things that people talk about, and so I think that that gives it those qualities that makes it stand out. There's so many variations. Basically, anything with a distorted guitar and a palm mute is considered metal, some kind of genre of metal. Rock guys don't palm mute. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
What was the question?
What do you think makes metal stand out among other genres?
The aggression within metal. I feel like in one way or another, it's either angrier or it's faster or it's more down-tuned. It's always more extreme in one way or another, whether it's tempo or rhythm or yeah, I don't know. Obviously vocals have a huge thing to do with that as well. Vocals are always more aggressive than, say, rock or hard rock. They're more yelly, more screamy, more in your face. It's just got more attitude, I think. It just comes down to the attitude of it.
Yeah.
So far, what has been your favorite artist to record and why?
Mine so far has been him. Seeing him, so he had never actually gone to like a proper studio before.
Never.
To track something, and that was kind of cool to be a part of and to see. And so, by far, I would say watching him track drums for the Rest Repose EP was a ton of fun. I think he had a great time doing it.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an awesome experience. Other than that, though, I don't know. I mean, a lot of the bands, when you do it for a long time, the bands, for the most part, kind of start to become this huge bowl of experience, where it just kind of becomes the same. I don't know.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head. I mean, obviously, like, Into the Flood, those guys were tight. They were cool to record.
Yeah, I like recording at the End of the Flood guys, too.
Mm-hmm.
Pros.
Cool.
Yep.
So since you guys both have YouTube channels, what is your favorite Jared's like video, and what is Jared? What is your favorite video of Fluff?
I know what he's gonna say. I know what you're gonna fucking say.
No, I'm not gonna say that.
Oh yeah. Okay. I think my favorite videos of Fluff.
Are the ones on his channel?
I don't know. I do like his FAQ Mondays. They're fun to listen to. My favorite video with Fluff would probably be like a Riff Wars video. Those were a lot of fun. I mean, yeah, we've done a few on my channel. Like
The Riff Wars are my favorite to do.
yeah, the Riff Wars are fun.
Yeah, those are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My favorite Jared Dines videos are definitely not the pizza metal deathcore ones.
Yeah.
But I do like the classic. It's what got him all of his notoriety. Those are the 10 things.
The things musicians say in the studio.
Yeah, things musicians say in the studio series. Brilliant. And those kinds of things that he said in those videos only came from actual raw experience, and that's what made them so funny and genuine.
I think you like the drummer one the best.
The drummer one is probably my favorite video you've ever done. Oh man, it's so funny. I'll show everybody.
My favorite is like what Jared said is Q&A when you talk about it, and when you just talk about like an overview of like pedals. I think
everyone seems to like the ones where I talk, and I guess I should talk more. Or something, because my guitar playing is not that great, so maybe I should just switch.
You don't do them anymore, but I like the Beard Files too.
Yes, that one is good too. And
you gotta tell him to do them again, because he doesn't do them anymore.
Those are tough to do. To do something original, like to add something. I never want to do something just for the sake of talking about it. I like to add something to it, and if I can't do that, I don't like to do them. But I do need to do another Beard Files. All right, fine. Maybe you can be in the next one. There you go.
And for Jared, my favorite one, because I've been watching, I literally for this interview, plus Jared was here, I actually went through starting from your oldest videos, through each one, and I started from maybe I started 2 weeks ago, and I was like, okay, cool, gotta do this. So I saw recently I saw the one where you do I think the drummers on drugs. No, not. Yeah, that one.
So much flack for our videos, man.
That one and the producers on drugs. I showed it to so many people, and they started laughing, and I was like, "Is that true?"
Yep.
I was thinking of actually because I have a band.
Jared's clearly never done drugs.
Yeah, and I have a band myself, and I was like, I wonder if we gave the guy who was gonna mix our stuff, what happens then?
Suck him some acid. Mix your stuff, bro.
Yeah, those were a lot of fun to do. I enjoyed. Anytime I can be silly and just make a fool out of myself, it's usually fun to do. It's interesting because with the stuff I do, you think people would kind of understand that they're jokes and parodies, but a lot of times people think I'm just genuinely, they just don't understand that it's a joke. And it's hard to get that across when you think it's already completely obvious, like the drugs one, and the drummer on drugs, when people are just thinking I was ranking on and people who do drugs, and I'm just like, well, you shouldn't do drugs. Number one, why have drugs become something that people defend? How dare you criticize people who do heroin, or it's you shouldn't do it, and it's obviously a joke, so just calm down. But yeah, those ones are a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun to do.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the next video you guys are gonna do together?
Probably Riff Wars 3. It's coming up real soon.
Who are you gonna feature?
Oh, I don't know if we can talk about that, can we? That's gonna be Rabia from the UK. Rabia Afro, Rabia Masad. He's in Dorje. It's Rob Chapman.
Oh wow.
He's the guy with the big afro. Rabia is a killer writer, and it's gonna be a good one.
Cool.
Jared's gonna fly over to the UK.
I'm down.
Let's do it.
All right. So
sick.
So the next two questions are just could you give an estimate of how much a home studio would cost to build?
Is that including treatment and everything?
Treatment as in like
My panels?
a plant?
Sound treatment.
Sure, yeah.
I'd say 10 grand.
I was gonna say 10 to 15 grand to do it right.
To do it right, yeah.
Yeah, you can do it much cheaper. Just the treatment alone is $5 grand, but it's worth so much more than that in the long run.
And it's something you can add to as time goes on.
Yeah.
You know, start with good computer, a good preamp, some good monitors, and then build your mic collection, and then treat your room, and probably 10 to 15 grand.
Yeah.
I would say if you want to put out decent quality that people will continue to come back to you for.
Yeah. Now, if you want to put stuff out like Jared Dines, $50, $100
Yeah.
ish.
I mean, not gonna lie, I like some of the stuff he did. Like, it's pretty good.
Thank you.
It is good.
Yeah,
I like it. I watch it. Most of it.
Definitely.
Is it on iTunes? I don't know if your stuff is on iTunes.
My stuff or Fluff's? My
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Some of my stuff is on iTunes, yeah. At least my personal stuff. Not a lot of it. A lot of people want me to write like a solo EP for the gear songs I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that, but we'll see.
Yeah. He has enough stuff on his plate currently, I believe.
Yeah.
We're pretty busy.
Cool. Well, lastly, what would you like to say to the new viewers and your current fans?
The new viewers and what?
The current fans.
Thank you. Thank you for spending any time, whether it's leaving a bad comment or a good comment. Thanks for any time out of your day that you have given to myself or Mr. Jared or anything that we have done or been involved with. Thank you very much.
I think we're both just very grateful and very
Humbled
and blessed to be in the situation that we are. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Well, the interview is done. So.
Sweet.